Joe Biden unveils his COVID-19 task force, OU prepares for the upcoming flu season, and how October's ice storm continues to impact Oklahomans. This is OU Nightly. Thanks for joining us for OU Nightly. I'm Madissen Lewis.
And I'm Dylan Rivera. We begin tonight with a big shakeup in Washington, D.C.
A few hours ago, President Donald Trump announced the firing of Defense Secretary Mark Esper. A senior defense official says Esper prepared a resignation letter amid growing tensions with President Trump. Christopher Miller will take over as Secretary of Defense. He was most recently the director of Counterterrorism Center of the Also, this afternoon, Speaker of the House, Mitch McConnell, spoke, saying that President Trump is well within his rights to question the results of the election.
Mr. President, last week, record numbers of Americans exercised the right which generations risk everything to hand on to us. I want to spend a few minutes this morning talking about what we saw last week, where we are now, and where our great country will go from here. There's one aspect of last week that has gotten lost that I want to single out right at the start. By every indication, the 2020 election appears to have been free from meaningful foreign interference. There is no suggestion that our foreign adversaries were allowed to undermine the integrity of our process. According to
White House sources indicate this may just be the start of the shakeup at the White House, saying Attorney General Bill Barr, FBI Director Christopher Wray, and CIA Director Gina Haspel could be next to go.
At around the same time, Vice President-elect Joe Biden was announcing his plans for a coronavirus task force. Advisors in the group include former FDA Commissioner David Kessler, former Surgeon General Vivek Murthy, and Marcella Nunez-Smith, an associate professor at Yale University. In Biden's briefing, he made no mention of a mask mandate, but did urge Americans to wear a mask, saying, quote, "A mask remains the most potent weapon against the virus." Other plans include increasing test sites across the country and looking for more rapid testing. Biden says he will also ask his task force to develop solid advice for how schools and businesses should operate, and plans to invest $25 billion in approved COVID vaccines.
And COVID-19 continues to infect members of the White House staff. Kaitlyn Deggs has that story in the rest of today's headlines from around the world. Kaitlyn?
Thank you, Madissen. Several of President Trump's staffers have tested positive for the virus. Housing and Development Secretary Ben Carson tested positive for the virus earlier this morning at Walter Reed Medical Center, but has since left the hospital. Carson attended an election night party with several officials, including White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, who tested positive alongside 4 other staffers last week. In addition to Carson, David Bossie, an advisor for President Trump's re-election campaign, tested positive. Even though Joe Biden has been projected to win the election, the transition between administrations has not yet started. President Trump has not conceded the election, vowing to file lawsuits in several battleground states where he believes voter fraud was committed. Because of the impending lawsuits, the Trump-appointed head of the General Services Administration, Emily Murphy, has not yet signed off on the letter to begin the process of ascertainment, which would allow the official transition of power to begin. And world leaders are acknowledging Joe Biden's election victory. Canadian Minister Justin Trudeau was the first to publicly congratulate the president and vice president-elect. Trudeau mentioned the friendship between the U.S. and Canada and stated that he was excited to work with Biden and Harris. Biden also was congratulated by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who has close personal ties to Trump. But the leaders of some nations, including Russia and China, are waiting until the results are official to issue their statements. Madissen, back to you at the desk.
Thank you, Kaitlyn. Another day of extremely high COVID cases in Oklahoma. The state health department reports just over 2,000 new cases today, for a total of over 20,000 active cases in the state right now. There were 6 new deaths reported today, and that brings the death toll in the state to 1,444.
And Oklahoma's alarming spike in new COVID cases prompted a state health department press conference today. To keep officials and the media safe, it was held on Zoom. Saturday's new cases were over 4,000. The state says this is partially due to a backlog in reporting numbers, but that the numbers that are running behind are a few hundred. However, several factors result in the amount of cases reported. Dr. Jared Taylor says one issue is due to contact tracing.
We have not had the opportunity or the technological ability to do as much connecting the dots as we would like to with that contact tracing. That's
Hospitalizations continue to be high with limited number of beds available in the ICUs across the state. As a result, several hospitals are no longer allowing any visitors with patients except those who are children, and those are limited to just one person.
The good news on the COVID front is that drug maker Pfizer says it has a vaccine that is 90% effective. While it will be some time before it's approved, we wondered how it might be distributed to OU students. Dr. Dale Bratzler tells us the vaccine must be stored in extremely cold temperatures and administered soon after thawing. Many doctors' offices, including Goddard, may not be equipped to receive and administer the vaccine. Also, Bratzler says the vaccine will be prioritized to the elderly community and those with pre-existing health conditions.
I think it'll be a while before the general OU campus population will see the vaccine unless they have some of those underlying medical conditions that put them at risk.
Dr. Bratzler expect the campus to see the vaccine until the summer of 2021 at least.
Flu season is rapidly approaching, and OU is offering one last chance to get vaccinated. This Wednesday, OU Health Services is holding a drive-through flu clinic in the Jenkins parking garage. It will be OU's final flu clinic before the upcoming winter break. This year's flu season coincides with the spiking COVID-19 cases, making a flu vaccination especially important, according to OU health officials. The clinic is free for OU students with a valid OU ID and begins at 10 a.m. Visit healthconnection.ou.edu to schedule an appointment in advance, though no appointment is necessary. And shifting gears a little bit, it is a warm day outside, but it still looks cloudy and gloomy.
Mikayla Smith joins us to explain why it feels so nice but looks so gross. Mikayla?
Yeah, guys, it's been cloudy all day today across the state, and our CO's current temperatures are in the 70s for most of us, 68 out there in Woodward, but other than that, we're up there in the 70s. And now why it feels so gross outside is those current dew points. You can see for most of us, they're relatively high, about a 10-degree difference from where our current temperature is sitting, which is why it feels so cloudy and so muggy outside. But we are feeling a bit dry out there in the panhandle, so they're not experiencing as much as we are. But with that, we're going to have a couple rain chances come up here ahead in the forecast. I'll give you the rest of the forecast for the week, and then we're still tracking tropical storm now Ada, and I'll tell you where that's going to be and how it's going to move forward. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Mikayla. Longtime Jeopardy host Alex Trebek died in his California home Sunday morning. Trebek became a pop culture icon, hosting the late afternoon game show for 37 years. Show producers say recently recorded episodes of Trebek will air through December 25th and that there have been no plans for a replacement. Trebek battled stage 4 pancreatic cancer for over a year, losing his fight on Sunday. Alex Trebek was 80 years old.
This aftermath from October's ice storm is still affecting many Norman residents. Find out how a local nonprofit is striving to lend a helping hand to those in need and how you can get involved.
Plus, Dow Jones stock is up to the highest point it's been since February. Find out why when we return.
And 2 whole weeks after Norman's severe ice storm, Norman residents are still working to clean up the debris. But over 80 homes of seniors or those with disabilities have been unable to clean up their yards, making it hazardous for them to go out and get out of their homes. Norman's United Way has partnered with Norman's Next as well as McFarland Memorial United Methodist Church to help residents who cannot pick up the debris themselves. The organizations have teamed up under the same goal to help their community efficiently.
The purpose behind working with other organizations is if we're all doing things on our own, I don't think we're as effective as when we're teaming up. And I think we can maximize the number of people that we're able to help and to serve here in the community.
If you'd like to help Norman residents in need, you can sign up at unitedwaynorman.org/icestorm-volunteer.
It's been a great day for the stock market. Kelsey Hovanetz joins us in Money Matters with what caused the sudden boost for the economy.
You are right on, Dylan. The stock market is soaring today after the announcements of a COVID vaccine and a projected presidential win for Joe Biden. This morning's skyrocket comes after Pfizer announced the first successful late-stage trial for a COVID-19 vaccine. The Dow Jones Industrial Average surpassed February 12th's previous record before the pandemic tanked the U.S. economy. Markets had already been climbing overnight after election results were released showing Joe Biden as the new president-elect. And despite that promising news, the pandemic is still impacting everyday life for many Americans. At least 3 U.S. supermarket chains are bringing back purchase limits for essential products to prevent hoarding. Kroger, H-E-B, and Giant are limiting purchases of everyday essentials like toilet paper, paper towels, and disinfectants. On Saturday, Oklahoma reported a new single-day record of 4,741 new COVID-19 cases. And Madissen, Cinemark, and AMC are soaring today after Pfizer's COVID vaccine breakthrough. I know I'm ready to get back to the movies, so this was definitely music to my ears. That's my 2 cents. Back to you.
Thanks, Kelsey. And the combination of the spread of COVID-19 and last month's ice storm are leaving many Oklahomans in need of help from members of the community. Stay with us to learn how this annual event is more important than ever before.
Plus, Mikayla Smith tells us how there may be some rain in our future. Mikayla?
Yeah, guys, we're going to have rain chances that are going to be late tonight into tomorrow, and I'll tell you when that's going to be coming up next. Welcome back to OU Night. You can take a current look at our OKC skyline cam. We can see there's been a bunch of clouds out there in the sky today, and that is what everyone's been feeling. It's been a bit of a gloomy day today, about 70 degrees, so a bit warm. That's going to be those winds coming up from the south, but you can see that dew point temperature sitting about 10-degree difference there, which is why it has been so cloudy and just dreary outside now. It's been like that for the majority of the state in the 70s, 60s in a few places, but most of we're just in the 70s for today now. That's going to change. We have a cold front that is making its way in late tonight into tomorrow morning. It's going to move through Norman. We're going to get some of those cold winds coming from the north, and then it's going to bring back some southerly winds a few days later, and then a dry line moves through the state on Thursday. Now we can see with this future radar again exactly what timing we're going to be. It's going to be around 5:30 this morning, Tuesday. We're going to see those winds start to move into Norman. Thunderstorm maybe here or there. I'm not expecting anything too severe. And then that's going to move throughout the state as the day goes on. And by about 5 p.m. tomorrow, you can see that the whole state is going to be without cloud in the sky. And then that's going to stay that way. Maybe a cloud or two may come over here in the Panhandle on Wednesday. But other than that, it's going to be a great sunny day now. Lows tonight across the state, you can see right where that cold front's going to be. It's going to be 34 in Guyman. But here, we're sitting a bit above normal. And that's because that cold front hasn't quite moved through throughout that time yet. But tomorrow, we are going to warm up just a little. Right around normal for that time of year. Everyone's sitting in about the 60s. We're going to be a little bit chillier in 56 in Guyman, and then a little bit warmer down here in Idabel at 72. But other than that, it really is just going to be a nice day now. We've been tracking Ada for a while now. We can see it spinning off here off the coast of Florida. It's brought a lot of rain already currently down to the southern portion in the Keys area and stuff, and that's going to continue to be an impact for us. We can see the sea surface temperatures are still warm, perfect to be able to support a tropic system. So we can see it right here, and that's going to continue to move up as the week goes on. We're not entirely sure exactly what this forecast track. You can see it has a wide cone because there's so many things that could come into play there. But again, we do know that this is going to be moving up as the week progresses. So rain is expected in any of these places, as you can see. Now, coming back home again, we're going to have some rain here on Tuesday, a beautiful day on Wednesday for Veterans Day. And then the 60s are going to stick around throughout the rest of the week. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Mikayla. This week, the Oklahoma Blood Institute is hosting their annual Bedlam Blood Drive on campus. The Oklahoma Blood Institute is hosting this drive due to the blood shortage due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but the recent ice storm has also caused some issues. The ice storm caused extensive power outages, which has led to some health problems for individuals. With the low supply of blood, the Oklahoma Blood Institute stresses just how important donating blood is.
So every day we have folks in our hospitals who need blood. Every 2 seconds someone needs blood products. So it's important to get out and make sure that we're saving local lives.
The goal for the blood drive is 600 units of blood. And the Sooners returned to the Palace on the Prairie this past Saturday and walked all over the Kansas Jayhawks.
Payton Little breaks down OU's easy win in sports.
Yeah, guys, the Sooners had a field day this Saturday, and the undefeated Steelers barely took down the massively struggling Dallas Cowboys. So don't go anywhere. Sports is next. Welcome back. I'm Payton Little, and it is time for sports. The Sooners absolutely stomped Kansas on Saturday, 62-9. Ramondre Stevenson had another big game after winning co-Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week, rushing for 104 yards and 2 touchdowns. This brings his touchdown total to 5 in just 2 games. Speaking of touchdown totals, get this. 8 different players scored touchdowns on Saturday, and the OU defense filled the stat sheet with 9 sacks and 2 interceptions. Parker Thune and Shannon Ehrhardt have more on the big win.
Well, for really the first time all week, there was a clear and decisive margin between red and blue this afternoon. Oklahoma returns to Owen Field for the first time in 6 weeks and stomps the Kansas Jayhawks 62-9 the final. Parker Thune alongside Shannon Ehrhardt to break it down. Now, Shannon, this was a team victory for Oklahoma. A lot of impressive performances. Ramondre Stevenson led the way, 164 total yards and 2 scores on just 15 touches, but he wasn't the only one that stood out.
No, he wasn't. And playing at the top of your game is absolutely infectious. And we saw that with Ronnie Perkins and Nick Bonito. And living up to the physical play of someone in the same position is no piece of cake. But that's the beauty of it. When your teammates play above standard, that's where the bar is set, and that's where you should be. 9 sacks and 7 players recorded at least half a sack. Everybody chipped in today for OU.
Now, Shannon, today marks the first time since 2015 that Oklahoma has put up 60-plus points in back-to-back games. Of course, 62 today, 62 last week in Lubbock on Halloween night against Texas Tech. So this team really appears to be firing on all cylinders as they head into the open date.
Yeah, and on the other side of that bye, we'll have that Bedlam game, that Oklahoma State game that everybody is always looking forward to. But for now, for Parker Thune, I'm Shannon Ehrhardt, OU Nightly.
And the OU soccer team continues to struggle after they dropped a game to Baylor on Friday in overtime. They are now 0-6-1 on the season. And OU basketball forward Brady Manek will be joining us on Sooner Sports Pad tonight. Manek averaged 14 points and 6 rebounds last season, and he was named to the 2021 Karl Malone Power Forward of the Year award watch list. You can watch Sooner Sports Pad on Fox Sports Southwest every Monday at 7:30. And a season of heartbreak continues for the Dallas Cowboys, who dropped a close game to the undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers yesterday, 24-19. Dallas is on their 4th quarterback of the 2020 season as they continue to struggle after Dak Prescott's season-ending injury. The Cowboys are now 2-7 and are tied for last in the NFC East. Hard to imagine that the Cowboys could still host a home playoff game this season. Dylan and Madissen, back to you guys.
Thanks, Payton. And a return to the White House for the first time since the Obama administration. And no, we're not talking about the president-elect.
Find out one of the smaller things exciting some Americans about an upcoming Biden presidency. Straight ahead on OU Nightly.
I'm Devin Fields at the OU Nightly Update Desk. A look into future decisions. The Supreme Court will decide the fate of Obamacare on Tuesday. More than 20 million Americans could lose their health care coverage if the Affordable Care Act is found unconstitutional. This is its 3rd test at the Supreme Court, but this time with a 6-3 conservative majority. We will have the latest for you tomorrow. That's it for now. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Devin. And with so many smaller stories shooting out from the presidential election, one that's making many people happy is the return of first dogs to the White House.
Joe Biden brings 2 German Shepherds, Major and Champ, into the Oval Office along with the rest of the first family. Some of the more interesting pets to live at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue include a bobcat named Smokey during Calvin Coolidge's presidency and John Quincy Adams' pet alligator.
And Dylan, speaking of dogs, I am hoping that the weather will be nice enough these next few days to take my dog to the dog park. Mikayla, how's it looking?
Yeah, guys, it's going to be great the next few days. We have our Veterans Day forecast here, which is going to be on Wednesday. It's going to be beautiful. You can see those sunshine all day long. Starting off a bit cool here in the morning, but it's going to warm up to be a really nice day to get out and go out again. It's going to be like that for the rest of the week. We're sticking with those 60s. We may have another chance of rain here on Friday, but again, we're going to continue to have those nice temperatures, and we're going to be sunny on 60 on Monday. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Mikayla, and thank you for tuning into OU Nightly. We're live every weekday from Gaylord Hall.
Have a good evening.
Good night.